Hi everyone and welcome to Flosstube number 34. Today I have some about hashtag Stitch for Sage. I have a little apology kind of a thing that I want to talk about. Things that I was enlightened about last week, and I really want to explain why I did what I did and how I why I did what I did. Yeah, so and then I also have some dyeing, I have some sewing I have done, and a lot of stitching, as usual, a lot of stitching. But first, if you are a returning viewer, thank you so much for coming back. It warms my heart that you want to spend some time with me, and if you're new here, hi, I hope you feel welcome and that you stay. If you do, please thumbs it up and the subscribe button, all of those things. My name is Marika, I live in Sweden with my boyfriend and my cats, and this is a channel all about cross stitching. So let's start with hashtag Stitch for Sage, because I think that is the most important thing. So Sage is a designer, a cross stitcher and a designer that is the designer of Night Spirit Studios, and they are battling cancer and have done so for a while, and has been had to go in and had some brain surgery. Happily enough, everything went fine, but some YouTubers and Instagrammers decided that they really wanted to kind of give Sage some happiness and maybe some money. So they started hashtag Stitch for Sage, where you pick a Night Spirit Studio design and you stitch it and you share it on YouTube and Instagram and everywhere where you are. So I picked one. I picked the Unexpected Visitor. Just the name is a whole story why I picked that specific one, but we're gonna take that next week. Just know that I really love the design. Night Spirit Studios are like gothic inspired designs, and this was definitely my favorite one. So I've been stitching on this since like Tuesday, I think. Yes, and this is how far I've gotten. This is kind of, I did the outlines. I think it's so beautiful, and it's gonna be like a little scene with a little alien here. Oh, this is the design. I forgot to show you that. This is the design that I've chosen, and this is how I stitch it. I'm stitching this on a 28 count opalescent linen, which I have dyed myself. I'm calling this color Catching Coral. And I kind of love it. It is a beautiful, like corally orange peachy kind of a fabric, and it's glittering so much. I love it. I just love it, and I love the design. It's so much fun to stitch on, and I thought I'll do the same thing as I did last week and give away the offcut. Now this piece was a 1/4 of a yard, so the offcut is slightly bigger than 1/8 of a yard, and this is the offcut. You can win it. It is open internationally, and you have to be 18. The way you enter to win this is to take the keyword that I will give you and you put it in a comment. I will pull a winner next coming week. I will announce the winner in the video next week, and whoever won will have to contact me through my email that is always listed in the description down below. So the word you will use for this fabric is a visitor. So yeah, run over, get a goth inspired and stitch it on this. Would be awesome, right? So from that into something a little bit more serious. So as I said in the beginning of the video, I have an I want to say you use the word excuse, because that is kind of the Swedish word if you translate directly, but it's not an excuse, it's I'm sorry. So here's the thing. People have noted to me that Hobby Lobby might not be the best company. but I have always thought that it has been in the same kind of area of Amazon isn't a good company, Facebook isn't a good company, which is companies that they have their negative impacts, but you can't really live your life without it. Well, Hobby Lobby you can definitely live without. However, it was come to my attention this Sunday that Hobby Lobby is much worse than I actually thought. And because my pattern, Midsummer Coast to Coast, was stitched on a Hobby Lobby fabric, and it was noted in the pattern that it was a Hobby Lobby fabric, I decided this Sunday, like almost directly, to remove my pattern from my Etsy store and restitch it to on a fabric of my own dyeing, so that me as a person, this channel, and also my company wouldn't be in any way, shape and form kind of attached to Hobby Lobby. Now I wanted to go through why I've chosen to do this, both so you kind of understand how I'm thinking, but also if you didn't know about this, maybe this can enlighten you, and then you can make your own choices what you want to do. So Hobby Lobby have a CEO. The CEO is David Green. He is a Christian fundamentalist. He's actually an extreme Christian fundamentalist. Hobby Lobby is one of the few companies that has a really like strong grouping towards the Bible, towards Christianity, or fundamentalistic Christianity. Not only do he believe that he should give his company to God, he also uses references to God in the Bible in company memos, etc. He even have gone so far to exclude birth controls out of any health insurance that the company will give you, because he doesn't believe in contraceptions. I don't believe that anyone except yourself should be able to tell what you can do with your body, and I think it is a terrible thing to remove a thing like a medication like contraceptions out of it. But it doesn't stop there. If we don't look at them smuggling in a bunch of artifacts from Iraq and a lot of other things, there's one thing that really caught my eye, which it was a blimp in a documentary that I watched not because of Hobby Lobby, but just opened my eyes. Well, I had already taken the decision to take down, but this kind of made the reason why I want to make this part of the video. And I understand not everyone want to hear this because it is cross-stitching. We're talking about cross-stitching, but here's the thing. I want to make sure that the people that watch me, the people that buy my pattern, can feel comfortable in that I will include them in my life and in this. So kind of why I say this. So here's the thing. This week I ended up watching a YouTuber channel called Cult to Consciousness. They're talking about cults, and they're talking about with people who have been in cults, and how they got out of them and all of those things. So I have my little notebook because I need some notes, I realized. But anyhow, when they were talking about that, they were talking about the Institute Basic Life's Principle this week. And the reason why they're talking about it is because there is a Amazon Prime documentary. I don't know if it recently came out, but it has recently gotten up to be like on number 3 on the most streamed things, according to CNN. But anyhow, there's a documentary on Amazon called Shiny Happy People. It's about the Duggar family, and if you don't know about the Duggar had a TLC show called 16 and Counting, then 17 and Counting, then 18 and Counting, talking about how many babies there were in the family, and they had a huge issue with the family. I have a very hard time with English words today because I have a very bad migraine, but I'm trying, okay, I'm trying. The big issue was that their eldest son, Josh, actually have been sent to prison due to child pornography charges. And with that, it also came out that he had molested his younger sisters when they were in their preteen years. Which is just terrible and everything. But what this documentary kind of shows is that what Josh did and what happened wasn't a unique thing. The Institute of Basic Life Principles, or IBLP for short, they are Christian fundamentalists, very extreme. They believe the authority, that God is the ultimate authority. Under God is the leader of the IBLP, and under the leader is men. Whether that is your father or your husband, it's always men. Female doesn't really have any authority, except to make sure that the children are in line, and that is done to corporal punishment. IBLP children does not go to school, they are homeschooled, they are indoctrinated with the beliefs of IBLP. The whole idea behind IBLP is to procreate and spread the word of IBLP, actually trying to get the children of IBLP into the Senate and the House. There are actually people in the Senate and the House that are children of IBLP. I would say watch the 4-part documentary. It was insane. Anyhow, why am I talking about this for Hobby Lobby? Well, here it is. The biggest contributor economically to IBLP is none other than David Green, Hobby Lobby's big founder and CEO. Yeah, all the money that goes into Hobby Lobby from you buying cheap threads or fabric goes directly to IBLP. Yeah, IBLP. Exactly, that's the word. So yeah, when I found that out, because that is not mentioned anywhere, really, honestly, except in this documentary. You can see it, but if you search for like Hobby Lobby and bad or something like that, what comes up is the contraceptives, the other things I mentioned, but they don't talk specifically of IBLP. So just wanted to share that, so you know. But with that, I also want to share my revised cross stitch. So not only did I actually stitch this on another piece of fabric, I also decided to revise the pattern. So this is the new and improved, hopefully that is in focus, but that is the new and improved Midsummer Coast to Coast. And what I've done here is I have shrinking the area between the two houses to make the stitch a little bit more balanced. This is stitched on a 32 count opalescent linen in the color of light moss. Now I, of course, have a second piece of light moss that you can win. So if you want the second piece, which is the rest of that eighth I had, then put coast in your comment section, and you can be in to win either or of those pieces. So yeah, I have a little bit more stitching, and then I have the rest of the things, the dyeing, the sewing and everything. So before all this happened, I did start my rainbow animals, as I talked about. So I didn't throw out my plans completely out the door. So I started all 3 of them. I did the outline and the white of the fox. I did the outline and the white of the panda, and I did the outline and the white almost on the penguin. So the penguin has a little left, that's why I have a thread hanging. They are all stitched on, I think, 474, which is a printed variegated fabric from DMC on 14 count. Otherwise I have used the all of the DMCs that came in the pattern. The pattern is from Stitchrovia, it is from a WOCS stitching magazine, and the details will be in the description down below because I don't at the moment remember which magazine. Anyhow, but before we go into my last section, which is dyeing, I do have this teeny tiny piece of fabric to give away. That was the giveaway of last week's video. And I'm gonna list the comment down below so you can register it. YouTube has now gone over to show your handle instead of the name. Like your, before you had a name that you can show. Now it is a handle, and the handle for the winner is Maria Martin BJ1FI. So Maria Martin BJ1FI, the comment should be down here. You are the winner of this fabric. Send an email to marika.stitches@gmail.com and I will get this out to you as soon as possible. I do have the little booklet that I'm also gonna get out. I haven't had the brain space this week, and after I talked about the dyeing, I might be talking about that too. So that is all about my stitching and all the giveaways. To finish off that, I also wanted to show what I have for my stitching for Sage piece. I have a new little project bag, basically a little bag to keep my threads in while I'm working. So here's my threads. They're actually on some, this is a sneak peek. I have some new floss drops that are coming to the store, so you can wait for them probably next week or 2 weeks. I just had a rough week, but I've sewn these little things. So I have 2 of these that I have for myself, with little bit hearts on the inside, fox on the outside, and the matching little orange zipper, and it's very hairy because I've had it in the sofa with me when I've been stitching. I actually cut out and started sewing 14 of these little bags. I do have a couple in the store that are a little bit thinner. They don't have an interfacing. These have a batting interfacing, a thin batting interfacing, so they're a little bit more substantial. But yes, my sewing machine broke. I've been talking a while that I had some issue with it that I have to rectify now and then, and the machine started sounding funny when I was sewing last time, and when machine starts sounding funny, that is when you kind of turn them off, see what you can do, and if you can't do it themselves, you send in for service, and that was what I did. So I don't have a sewing machine, or a regular sewing machine. However, I did purchase a overlock. So I've been looking for overlocks for a long while, trying to figure out how I can get an overlock without paying a hand and a foot, because overlock machines can be like $1,500 easily. So I did a little bit of research, read a lot of blog posts, and I found a brother machine, overlock machine, that cost me about $300. I bought it because I started dyeing fabrics, and I'm really happy about dyeing fabrics, and my dyed fabrics I need to serge the edges on so they don't unravel in the washing machine after I'm washing them. So yes, and with that we're going into fabric section. Yes, I have a fabric session. So I've been thinking about dyeing more fabrics. I have a lot of white fabrics, they are just not selling, which I do understand. So I wanted to dye them up. I have a lot of dyes that I haven't really tried on cross-stitch fabrics. You can't see it here, but I have a couple. I can see if I can bring them down, they're just above me here. But I have a couple of like very affordable cotton that I have used and I have dyed. with these specific dyes just because I wanted to see how they would look on a cotton, to see how they would look on my stitching, but hadn't done them on embroidery fabric. So if you didn't know, I dyed fabric from like 2015 to 2017, late 2017. And in late 2017 my back broke. I had really bad issues. Later found out it's just muscular. If I train my back, it will feel okay. I do have a little narrowing in my spine, but as long as I have muscle relaxant and train, my shoulder should be fine, and then my back should be kind of okay. So I thought, now that I'm feeling a little bit better, maybe I should start doing some dyeing again. So the first dye job I have is this one, which is not really as yellow as it comes up. I tried to fix the color, but it's just not showing up as good as it should be. It's a little bit more pinker orange. I think this actually came up quite nice, but I don't know. This one. So let me talk a little bit quickly about how I dye. I do something called low immersion dyeing. I use reactive dyes. Reactive dyes are somewhat waterproof or color proof, so after I wash them in the machine, it shouldn't shed the color, and you might even be able to hand wash it. I don't put that into any descriptions because I don't want anyone to sue me, but yes, they should be a little bit more stable than most any other dyeing. So yes, so I use reactive dyes. I use dyes from Dharma Trading, which is a company in the US. They have a lot of different colors. The colors that I will show you today, they might not have anymore because this was a limited edition fall collection that I bought from them in 2017. So yes, it's been a while. But yes, I started off with what is called Ginger Snap. I will not call the fabric that, but that was the dye name, and this is this is a 14 count opalescent Ida, and this color came out fairly simply motted, so basically it's mostly the same color. It has a couple of, like, I'm so sorry that this doesn't really show up exactly as it looks, but it has a couple of places where it's a little bit more pink and a little bit more yellow, but otherwise it's fairly even dyed. This is the linen, and then I also have the even weave, and the even weave is a lot lighter. If I'm doing this, you can actually see it a little bit better. As you can see, the even weave is much lighter. So the reason for that is the fabric. When you buy these reactive dyes fabric, you are buying them for a subsection of materials. That is how different dyes works. That is also, if you RIT dye, you know, there's the regular RIT dye and there's another RIT dye that can do synthetics and so on and so forth. But reactive dyes is especially this. They have very limited, like, this is what you can dye. I dye cotton, linen, and the even weave, which is a cotton polyester blend. The polyester in the cotton polyester blend makes this look a lot lighter than what, for example, the linen does, because this is 100% linen. The Ida is 100% cotton, so that is why they take up the color differently. Anyhow, the second color I have, it's called Dutch Chocolate, and you can actually get the Dutch Chocolate, but I don't know if the the dye will behave the same way as this does, because Dharma do tend to reevaluate their colors sometimes, so it might not. And this is actually fairly true to color. It is a pinkish brown with more like gray pink areas and more gray areas. It's actually a really gorgeous color, gorgeous fabric. It is quite busy, but I kind of like the color. And the way that happens, that these colors do what they do to kind of make the gray and the dark, is because I am dyeing at a lower temperature than recommended for this specific dye. That is something I learned this week. It's supposed to have boiling hot water. I don't want to work with boiling hot water because when I do, I have a tendency to burn myself fairly badly. So I don't. And you can use these dyes when it's not that hot. If you want to do very, very strong colored pieces, that can be an issue, and this can happen. And I kind of want it to happen, so I don't mind. But yes, this is the linen, again 28 karat linen opalescent. Everything, all of these fabrics are super, super glittery. Except for these, because I decided to go with just a regular 16 count Aida for this. Again, it is those same colors. It's beautifully mottled. I'm so happy about how these came out. And the even weave is a lot lighter. I'm not showing you all the pieces. I colored about or dyed 18 pieces, and I'm going to show you one of each kind of material because they do behave very differently. And last, I have what I call the catching coral, which is the same fabric that I've stitched the hashtag stitch for sage piece. And that is dyed with fall flame, and that does not, they don't have that left at Dharma anymore. But this is the color. It is a very corally peachy pink. Like it's coral, and then it has a lot of mottling, which is more in a peachy tone. So the dye has done very similar to what it did on the pieces for the Dutch chocolate, that it has kind of split out the dye. I'm gonna have that this way. It has split the dye so that some of those pigments hasn't, like the orange here, it's a much more orange here and a lot more peachy pink here, and then even more pinker down here, and that is because of how the dye took. So yeah, this is the last piece, which is a linen, again 28 count opalescence. So yes, it was super fun dyeing again. I will continue. The light moss that I have was a special recipe that I made myself. I mixed some dyes together, and so with the yellow line of mustard and butterscotch. And I have sadly thrown away the book that I wrote it in, but I did find similar dyes at Dharma's that I have ordered, so hopefully I can do something similar. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see how much I can dye, but it was a lot of fun. I will get these fabrics up in the store soon. And with that, it's all my shop things and my dyeing, and now I thought I would talk a little bit about this week and what the week has been. So this week has been it's been a fairly tough week. I've had very, very high migraine levels. Mostly it has been a lot of oral symptoms. I have a hard time speaking. I'm having a hard time finding words. I have tunnel vision and hard time focusing with my eyes. There's a lot of those kind of things that have been going on. So I've been really exhausted. And then on Sunday, I found out about Hobby Lobby, and I felt a lot of shame that I hadn't done my due diligence and looked up about Hobby Lobby. I hadn't done the work that I should have done. And this is me, myself, this is my feelings that I have to deal with. But it also messed me up completely for most of the week. Because I don't know, it's hard. You have to figure out, how do I accept that I made this big of a mistake? I have basically given money to child predators in a way, and that's it hurts. It hurts a lot. But I'm making a change. I hope that counts. I hope that counts. Yeah. And then I've just been stitching. I've had a couple of note days, might have had to do with my migraines, with the whole shame thing, with having a slight depression due to the anniversary of my grandmother's passing. And also I feel a little bit like I haven't been able to do all of the things that I've been wanting to do. Also, it's very, very warm. My body haven't really gotten used to the warmth yet. And for you who might come from a warm country would say, hey, it's like 23, 24 degrees outside. It's not that warm. We don't have AC, so it's just our fans keeping us cooler. And my body needs time to acclimate. And it's actually fairly cold at night. It can go down to like 9, 10 degrees at night, and then be 25 degrees at days. And that kind of temperature variations, it's rough. My body just doesn't get used to it. It takes a couple of weeks before my body understands that it's Swedish summer. But it's quite nice anyhow, but at the same time you get very kind of slow and lazy. But that is all for me. I want to thank you so much for staying this long. If you did, put something cute in the comment section. I'm really trying here. I'm trying to better myself, and I hope that is coming through. I wish that I just knew everything and could be the person that I really wanted to be just from being, but apparently that doesn't work. I have a lot of things to unlearn, and I have a lot of things to learn, and I think that's gonna be like a lifelong thing to do, but I'm trying. At least I'm trying. Anyhow, this is like the 7th time I'm recording this because words is hard. So I'm gonna end it here. I'm gonna thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you want to come back next week. But until then, bye, have a nice days, and I see you later. I'm gonna go edit this and do some more stitching. Bye!